Welcome to aminacademy.com. In astronomy, let us discuss about the composition and structure of the moon. The composition of the moon is not the same as that of Earth. With an average density of only 3.3 gram per centimeter cube, the moon must be made almost entirely of silicate rock. Compared to Earth, it is depleted in iron and other metals. It is as if the moon were composed of the same silicates and Earth's mantle and crust, with the metals and the volatiles selectively removed. These differences in composition between Earth and Moon provide important clues about the origin of the Moon, a topic we will cover in detail in later videos. Studies of the Moon's interior carried out with seismometers taken to the Moon as the part of the Apollo program confirmed the absence of large metal core. The twin Grail spacecraft launched into lunar orbit in 2011 provided even more precise tracking of the interior structure. We also know from the study of lunar samples that water and other volatiles have been depleted from the lunar crust. The tiny amounts of water detected in these samples were originally attributed to small leaks in the container seal that admitted water vapor from Earth's atmosphere. However, scientists have now concluded that some chemically bound water is present in the lunar rocks. Most dramatically, water ice has been detected in permanently shadowed craters near the lunar poles. In 2009, NASA crashed a small spacecraft called the Lunar Crater Observation and Sensing Satellite into the crater caboose near the moon's south pole. The impact at 9,000 kilometers per hour released energy equivalent to 2 tons of dynamite, blasting a plume of water vapor and other chemicals high above the surface. This plume was visible to telescope in orbit around the moon, and the LCROSS spacecraft itself made measurements as it flew through the plume. The NASA spacecraft called the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter LRO also measured the very low temperatures inside several lunar craters, and its sensitive cameras were even able to image craters in interiors by starlight. The total quantity of water ice in the moon's polar craters is estimated to be hundreds of billions of tons. As liquid, this would only be enough water to fill a lake 100 miles across, but compared to the rest of the dry lunar crust, so much water is remarkable. Presumably, this polar water was carried to the moon by comets and asteroids that hit its surface. Some small fraction of water froze in a few extremely cold regions, cold traps, where the sun never shines, such as the bottom of the deep craters at the moon's poles. One reason this discovery could be important is that it raises the possibility of future humans' habitations near the lunar poles, or even of a lunar base as a way station on routes to Mars and the rest of the polar system. If the ice could be mined, it would yield both water and oxygen for human support, and it could be broken down into hydrogen and oxygen, a potent rocket fuel. Now we'll discuss about more about structure of the moon, composition and structure of the moon here. Moon has a layered structure similar to Earth with a core, mantle and crust. The moon's core is small, iron-rich solid core. Above the core is a thick solid mantle. The moon's crust is relatively thick compared to Earth's average about 50 kilometers. The moon's surface is covered in a layer of regolith composed of rock fragments and dust resulting from impact. Core. The moon's core is believed to be a small, solid, iron-rich sphere representing about 20% of the moon's diameter. Mantle. The mantle is a thick, solid layer extending to a depth of roughly 1,350 kilometers. Crust. The crust is the outermost layer and varies in thickness, averaging about 50 kilometers. The near side crust is thinner than far side crust. Regolith. What is that? The surface is covered by a layer of regolith, a mixture of rock fragments and dust resulting from impact of meteoroids and other space debris. Elemental composition. The lunar crust is primarily composed of oxygen, silicon, magnesium, iron, calcium, and aluminium. The mantle is likely to made of minerals like olivine and pyroxene, which are rich in magnesium, iron, silicon, and oxygen. The core is thought to be primarily iron with possible sulfur and other elements present. The lunar surface also contains various other elements including titanium, uranium, thorium, potassium, sulfur, manganese, chromium, and hydrogen. So far, we discussed little about composition and structure of the moon. We have done. Please subscribe our YouTube channel.